a royal, and I want to send a message from my family to yours. You know, coming up in August, I'm going to be celebrating 10 years of marriage to my lovely wife. And those are 10 years I would never exchange with a woman who is my heart and such a joy to be with. Some of you know the wonder of marriage and family and children. And like me, to you, family is so important. I've been a part of North Carolina since I was since my whole life, before I was a twinkle in my mother's eye. And I know how important family is to others of you who, like me, have gone camping up in Boone and Asheville, fishing off the North Carolina coast, riding up the Blue Ridge Parkway, and playing in the Sand Hills. And to both Kat and myself, our family in California and New Orleans and Texas and Florida and Virginia and across this great state are so important to us. And I know your family is important to so many of you. One of the things that has really hurt my heart as a North Carolinian and is seeing in my work as a pastor here in Fayetteville how much our community only supports certain families. There's a member of our church who grew up here in North Carolina with a mother who was white and a father who was African American. And she tells with great heartache the story of how, growing up, though they were married, here in North Carolina they were not treated as such. And her parents were treated with disrespect. And she was called a bastard child. And she was mistreated at school. And neither of her parents were treated as if they truly were parents. We like to think that's a thing of the past, but it's not. Over my course as a minister, I have talked to many families in that same boat. I have heard the stories of parents working hard to raise their children who still are being told that both of them who are raising that child cannot expect the respect of parents, cannot know their relationship with their child is protected, and one of them can only be considered a friend. I have heard the stories and sat by the bedsides of our senior adults, some of whom have been together for decades, but now that they are on their sick bed, their spouse has no right to say what happens to them, and at times is kept by the rest of the family from being by their side. I have heard and seen the heartache in the hearts of soldiers' families, where because of something that has nothing to do with the love that soldier and spouse share for each other and for their children, when that soldier goes off to fight and risk their life for you and me and our freedom, they leave knowing there's no one looking out for their spouse, and the community at large will not treat them as a part of their family, will not support them, and will not be there for them. I've seen this. That may be shocking to you, but it is true, and it is still the case that so many families are not protected. And it has nothing to do with whether they love each other and they care for each other. It all has to do with their gender. These same gender couples, families, are not protected. Coming up in the end of March, the Supreme Court of the United States is going to be deciding whether or not to continue to put up barriers to all families being treated equally, all families being supported by the community, all families being protected. And as a man who loves families, to whom family is important, I think it's time, as a society, as a community, we raise our voice and say, every family matters. Every family ought to be respected. I want to invite you, if you're in the Fayetteville area, on March 23rd at 6:30 p.m. at the Market House. Several of us who are converging on the Market House, those of us who believe that every family ought to be protected and every family ought to be respected. And we're going to raise our voice to join the voices of many other groups throughout this country who are saying to the Supreme Court of the United States and to their communities, it is past time for us to begin to respect every family, to make it so no soldier going to war has to worry, will their spouse be taken care of? No child has to go to school in fear, wondering if their relationship with their parents will be threatened. And no one has to, in their last days, as they suffer through illness and death, be told that the person that loves them and has been with them their whole life cannot see them, and that other people have to determine their life outcome. I invite you to join me, and if you can't come, find your way to speak out. Throughout this country, there are going to be people speaking out, and you can look up and find find a place where you can join in and speak out as a group. You can also write letters to the editor. You can talk to your friends. You can speak to your churches and to your clergy or to your community groups. But let your voice be heard. Let's ensure that it is a place here in the United States and North Carolina, that this is a place where all families are supported and respected. Blessings to you from my family. Let's show our love.